Ambrosia beetles are fascinating organisms, but ambrosia beetles, there's actually lots of different types of ambrosia beetles, but they are essentially known for their symbioses that they have with fungi. So they essentially farm fungi. They carry various species of fungi with them. They have these specialized structures or these little pouches and things or little places on their bodies that they carry spores with them. And they farm these fungi in wood of trees. And usually it's in dead or dying trees that they do this. So they have this very good ability to detect trees that are weak or stressed or dying, and they basically cue in on those trees and they bore into them, make a little hole. And so little holes like you're seeing here, just little tiny holes. They bore in, and the adult, usually it's the female, in fact it's almost always the females that do it, they bore into those trees. And when they do that, they introduce the fungus. The spores are released from the body of the beetle, and the fungus becomes established in those galleries, in those tunnels. And then the beetle lays eggs, and the larva, as it develops, will feed on the fungus. And the adult, the female, will actually, work to cultivate that fungus in there, literally farm it. And that fungus is very important for the development of the beetle. And the adult, once that larva develops and emerges from the tree, it's carrying that fungus with it again. So it actually has its food, for in the next generation. So the symbiosis is very important. Well, in terms of forest health or in terms of tree health, this interaction is very diverse, and sometimes, like I said, it's associated with trees that are already weak, already dying. But we have some of these beetles and the fungi, especially the fungi that they carry, that are dangerous in terms of their impact on trees, and particularly those that have been brought here from other countries or other places because our trees don't have any resistance to the fungi. And the beetles are actually attacking trees that aren't necessarily weakened or stressed. And so one of the things about ambrosia beetles is that when they bore into the trees, they actually, will push out a lot of sawdust-like material, and it tends to be very light in color. It's very soft and light in color because they're boring deep into the sapwood of the tree. They're not feeding on that cambial layer like bark beetles. They're boring into the sapwood, which is usually light in color. So you get this very light, soft, sawdust-like material, okay? And that's what you're seeing here with this example of an ambrosia beetle that was attacking a pine tree, okay? But ambrosia beetles are generally often very small, not all of them, but there's different species. But they're different. They're basically they're bark beetles, and they look a lot like bark beetles. But there's a lot of diversity, so much diversity in ambrosia beetles. Some are very, very, very small. Some are tiny, and some are much larger, like this one you're seeing here, this platypus species, and that occurs on pine. And so, and here is an example of when they bore into the tree, they push out the sawdust-like material in what looks like a noodle, as often referred to. And so it comes out in this packed structure, and you'll see that when they're first attacking the tree, okay? And then sometimes you'll get a chance to see that, actually. So that is ambrosia beetles.